Hi folks, it's me again. I quite rarely do 2 videos or something like that per week, but I see that right now it's quite emerging topic around the ecosystem that people try to sell the Auth or login with Web3 or Web3 login or Web3 ID, whatever. Yeah, for sure. So in 90s it was enough just to have a password. We made the MD5 from your password stored in database, so super secure, right? And it's emerged more and more and gets more complex to break the things. And the big topic for sure, we have the social login, and that's classical Web2 that you have a big players. You could actually log in with Facebook, log in with GitHub, log in with whatever, Google, and yet another thing. So that's the next iteration for sure. And we all know that it's centralized, it's the big players, it's quite weak, because if somebody tries to shut down your account, it kills all your other places and so on. And we try to fight with it and try to invent the new things. In the parallel, we have the new cool stuff like OTP, like MFA for the second factor, and all other things that allow us not to remember all this password madness, make us free. And right now we have the new remedy that everybody is super happy, that just log in with your wallet. Just log in with your wallet, it's simple, it's OTP free, the passwordless, everything else. Affinity have the SDK that have passwordless with OTP, but we have something more interesting. I will talk about it later, but right now let's take a look to the idea of the Web3 login or Web3 identity. So it's super simple: login with your wallet, login with your MetaMask. So it's the end, it's the edge protocols that prove the ownership of the private key. We know we will not go deep how we distribute our public key. All these solutions have their own ways of doing it, but you know, my main concern here, rotation. How to rotate the things. If somebody steals your wallet, it's still your identity, it's end of the world. So rotation should be the key thing, and rotation is not working well with login with Ether. That Spruce ID actually have login with MetaMask and all other login with wallets. It's a big question how we do the rotation of the keys. If our private key gets compromised, if our private key gets stolen, what we should do. The next thing is still no question, because it's a big lie. How you will get access to your private key. So you still need to maintain the magic password that give you the access to the private key, and it's definitely not better than the thing that we already have, because you need to have the master password for your wallet, and it's no way, and unfortunately. So it's not so easy, and it's not so easy to port. So how you port your wallet to the different location. And another next question, the recovery. Yeah, if you simply forward the password, because we already know that you should have a password, what should you do? But the main concern actually the possibility to rotate. That's why I have a lot of concerns about the Web3 login and Web3 Auth. But what could I offer to you, and it's already available on our Affinity SDK, is the Web5 login. So Web5 login actually solves a couple of things. So we call it DIDauth, and DIDauth, it's an edge protocol, a peer-to-peer protocol that actually do quite simple thing. You could prove the ownership of your private key based on DID, so based on the public identifier. And here we will have the deep journey to quite simple question that you have the DID, And DID allows you to decouple a couple of things. It's yet another triangle, not so popular as a self-sovereign identity triangle. It's the identity actually triangle, and this triangle actually is the cryptographical binding between three things. First thing is the user or controller in our case. Another thing is the key pair, the public and private key, and the third thing is an identifier. Yeah, and DID is your identifier that cryptographically bind with the private and public key, and cryptographically or somewhere bind with the controller, so the user. And we need to find such DID methods that allow us to keep the identifier stable but still connected to the private and public key and to controller, and allow us to rotate the keys. So it's a couple of DID methods. It's a lot of the DID methods for sure, but what's quite interesting for the safe authenticated logins and all other things, it's the DID peers, DID carry, and off-chain methods, because on-chain methods could be quite expensive, and not all of them give you possibility to easily rotate the signing key. We implement our DIDAuth protocol on top of the actually DID element, but it could work with the DID polygon, and in theory we could support any other things that share the same cryptography. But the idea is simple, that first of all you distribute your public key as a DID, you have the stable identifier that could stay the same, but you could still rotate your private and public key, so it's more flexible, it's still tamper-proof, but you have a possibility to do something if you compromise your signing key. But we still have open question how we do the portability between the devices. Yeah, it could be just the import of the seed, for example, and how to do the recovery. For Affinity SDK, we have the answer for the recovery, because we have the backup of the seeds, and then you could use your email or phone to guess with the your password. But still, you see, we have password here. Or we could just say that we could install mobile agent on your phone, and if you need to change the device, you could just import the seed. If you compromise your key, it's a good question. It's not the answer to this peer-to-peer relations. We need to build some extra protocol that allow us to do the operations in this case. So the answer to this could be the DID carry or DID peer, and you could notify all your peers that this key is not valid anymore. But I see the big potential in a Web5 Auth, but I see a lot of gaps and a lot of problems in the idea of login with your wallet. So stay connected, share what you think. If you need more technical examples, let me know, and see you.